Hey folks, welcome back to the village. Early spring day here. Finally got a day where we might make it into the 70s without any 100-mile-an-hour winds. So we're out back at the garden today. Going to be working on putting together one of these Vego raised beds. Vego. I don't know how you say it. Some people say it one way, say it the other. It's going to be a round bin we're going to assemble. If you follow the channel, you're probably familiar with some of my other bins out here. Same family. These are 17-1, 15-1, I can't remember. Just modular panels that you can assemble or make shorter, longer, whichever. You can actually buy other panels in various lengths, various setups. Companies based out of Houston, Texas. A little different than most of your galvanized beds. This has a galvanized core, but it has a coating around the galvanized and then a food grade safe coating on top of that. That way you don't have that leaching of the zinc products and stuff that are in there with other various metals that can leach into your soil, into your food. I'm a organic gardener, so I don't use any type of chemicals or anything, so the last thing I want is galvanized material up against my soil. So that's what we're going to be working on today, and I'm not sponsored by them, but really a good product. I think it's one of the best out there on the market. We'll be working over here today. This is our, let me get down here. This is a 17-inch high, 42-inch across round bin. This I'm going to set up over here. It's going to be a potato bin for me. I'm just going to grow potatoes in it. So that's going to be it every year. Nice because you can easily access it and get to it. Not too big around. So we'll put this together. Nice thing is this, because of the material and everything, a 20-year plus lifespan on these, so you're not going to be replacing these very often, if ever. So we're going to put this together. It says you can put it together in 15 minutes. That ain't going to happen, but we're going to go ahead and put this together and show how it works. So thanks for joining, folks. Okay, so we're back out here. I didn't show it, it'd be really boring, but these panels come with like a heated plastic that seals the side of the panels that goes along the edges that you have just to peel back and pull off. It's kind of a little bit of a pain, but it protects them from getting all scratched up when they're shipping. So that's the first thing you want to do, is take all that off. And then it's just a matter of coming out, lining up your panels such as this, and then putting your screws in. Your cap screws, there's two different types of nuts that are going to come with these cap nuts, like they look like this. These are going to go along your top rows, so when you come in contact or something with them, they're not going to scratch on the top here, top two rows. Everything else below that's just going to be a standard nut. So try to make sure you do that. I screwed this one back here and I realized I did it wrong. But those will be your two top rows for those caps. Again, your bottom four will be the regular screws. All your screws are going to face with the screw part of it on the outside. All your nuts and washers on the inside. So I'll make sure when you're doing that, you're getting that right. That's pretty much it. You're just going back and just putting them together and tightening them up. Don't tighten them tight the first time. Put everything in, just like kind of like hand tighten them. So that way you can go back and line them up to something a little off or something, and then set them in place where you're going to put the bin itself, and then go back and tighten everything as you work your way through. That's the best way to do it. Did that the first time wrong, you screw that up, and then you have to go back and loosen, then tighten them. So just another thing. So that's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and I'll put this section together, go back and show you kind of what it looks like, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, got these first two panels put together, and like I said, we're coming in there, the cap type screws, and your nuts, and then your regular nuts down below. Again, just finger tight on all that. You see, like a little loose, but that way you have that little play in it, so when you get everything put together, you'll come back, and put your socket on there and do a screwdriver and tighten them down. They do have a tool that comes with it you can tighten the nuts with. It's a little easier. It's a pretty nice little tool, but I like to use like a 10mm deep well socket. It just makes it a lot quicker on a ratchet. So that's what I'm going to use. But like I said, we just got that first section. I'll just kind of sit it in place about where I want it. And just like just the first two, you're just gonna keep working your way around till you have your circle completed, and then we'll put it in place, kind of get it leveled, and we'll be ready to go. And then I'll kind of go over, I'm not going to work on it filling it today, but I'm going to show you the method we do to build the bed up. You just don't want to just put dirt in them. You could if you wanted to, but it's pretty expensive. So we're going to do a layering type method, and we'll show how that works. I've done it before, showed it before, but I'll go over it again. It's just a really good way. And I'll show you kind of like over here when I'm talking about it, how as it works and it degrades, you're putting more dirt into the bed because it's going to slowly degrade and lower as you go. So you're putting more in to build it back up. But that's where you're putting back in compost and stuff. So we'll go back over that too. So let me get started, and we'll go over here and we'll start working on these other panels. Okay, as you can see, got everything together. Again, everything's finger tight. I've gone back, just kind of backfilled it around the edges, tamped it down real good from the inside and outside, thrown the level across just to make sure it's fairly level. Taking again, tamping all the dirt down around to make sure it's good and solid. Again, everything's just finger tight. So now that I have it in place, you know, and I can line everything up a little bit, look at everything, I'll go back in and put my screwdriver on my 10 millimeter on this side, and I'll just tighten everything down. Don't overdo it. I mean, don't have to use super tight, and just snug everything up real good all the way around. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Again, you're assembly time, what they say on there. I guess if you did this a lot, you could do it easily, but I'm thinking realistically, it'd take you about an hour to put one of these guys together. I'm old and my knees are bad, so I don't do a lot of kneeling down and stuff, and breaks in between, you know. So that's it. Pretty cool. Again, we're going to come over here, we'll add some more to this too. I'm going to show you, I'm going to again show you how we build the bins up. Can I describe that? I'm going to take this bend over here and I'm going to put another one together, and I'm going to send one out. I might add this video, I'm not sure, but I'll show you again how we're going to go back. Well, let's do it right now. Let's see over here at this. There's a couple of the other bends, as you can see here, and see how your levels, you know, are so much lower now. This was quite a bit higher, but as everything degrades and drops the soil level over time, so you can see the same thing over here. I want to have this closer to that top rail here, so we'll come back in here, and since these are so much lower, I'm going to put some raised bed soil in there, but then on the top, probably inch, we'll add like a layer of compost through there, and then probably some worm castings, and kind of mix that in before we get everything finished to where we want it to go to be able to plant. Also too, one cool thing we're going to be working on too, that I'm kind of coming up with, kind of in my head still, on this end part. We'll move this box. Here they have a trellis method thing that can go on, you can buy with Vego, whatever you want to call it. It goes on the backside. That sounds good to me, but the other thing is, my son predominantly comes from the south, which is here, and west here. So if I put something on the sides like this, everything to this side would be shaded. So I'm going to come up with my own little system, which is going to take advantage of the hardware that's here, here, and on the other corner here. And I'm going to get longer screws, or carriage bolts, or no, carriage bolts, yeah. And I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to put those through. I'm going to take some slats of cedar, and they're going to run up here, one here, and one on this corner over here. And then they're going to be drilled and assembled, or put back. I'm going to assemble the bend again, those longer bolts, using the other, you know, washers and so forth. And that's going to give me a trellis on the end, so that way I'm not blocking the sunlight to stuff on this side of the bin. So I don't know if it's going to work. I think it's going to work. It's kind of in my broken head, but we're going to put it into effect and see if we can do it. We'll start with one here, and if we like it, then we might go ahead and add them at the other end, or on this larger bin here on this end. So that's another thing I'm going to do too. And then when I go to actually do the build, how to fill these bins up, I'm going to show you how we do. It's a German word. It's like Hegenkolker or something like that. German, it's hard to say, even though I am German. But it's a German word for layering, and it's going to be, we're going to come back and just build this in with sticks and logs, leaves, grass clippings, and then our garden soil, and then on the top are like our layer of worm castings and some compost for the plants. So we'll show how that works, but we're not gonna do that today, because when I get this other one built over here and my one I built out in the alley, if you watch the channel, I'm gonna do those all at one time so we can knock that out, and we'll do a video and show you how that's gonna work. So we'll see if I'm gonna try to get this other stuff done and see if we can show how we're gonna extend this other bend out. If not, it might come back and just wrap this up for you. But again, that's where we're at. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten all this down real quick. Hey folks, went back and torqued up all my hardware. Forgot to mention around the edging that comes with the Vego bends. It's a little channel like kind of rubberized thing, but it has a metal core to it, which is nice. And it goes all the way around. You cut it to size. It goes on. It keeps you from having any of those sharp edges where the seams are or anything, where you can cut yourself. Just like the cap type nuts keep you from having those sharp edges sticking out when you're reaching into the bend. So again, well thought out, just superior construction. I think that there's nobody out on the market that makes them better for what you can buy, and for what the comparison to like just a galvanized, really I think it's well worth the money, figuring they're going to last 20 plus years. And again, this is just as simple as going to start pressing this on, then cutting it to size. I cut it with diagonal cutters because of that metal core. So again, we're not going to fill these up today. I decided I'm going to take my other 9-in-1 that I bought, that I'm going to put down the other end of the garden. I'm going to put it together and put it in place. We'll come back and just show again on the building process and how, or the layering process of building up the beds, and then topping off the other beds, and how we like top it off to get everything prepared for the growing season. Kind of go over the type of system I plant. I don't plant a traditional row system. We're going to go over and show a little bit about the square foot method too that I use to grow my plants. Quite a bit different from just standardized row planting. But we'll go over that too and just describe that a little bit. So yeah, hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it, and maybe something you might want to check out. They run a lot of good specials and everything. If you sign up with the email, they'll send you stuff when they have specials, you know, special times of year and everything. So you can always get, you never pay full price for them, you get discounts on them. And they make them in various, like mine are the green color, they come in ivory, they come in blue, they come in I think 5 different colors now on a lot of them. So you can get a lot of colors that blend with your environment. They even have one that's a cart that rolls around. They have covers you can put on them and stuff, a trellis system. It's a lot of different things you can, you know, add to them. So yeah, if you want to check them out. Again, I'm not sponsored, wish I was. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and everything. And thanks for joining in with us. If you like what you see here, go ahead and hit that like button below. If you don't subscribe to the channel, go ahead and mash that subscribe button down below. Any comments or ideas or questions or anything, put those down below. So just here to learn and answer questions if any questions you have. Check us out on my channel, Village Life Nebraska. It's also on Rumble. If you don't use YouTube, that's another thing. Still Village Life Nebraska on there. So yeah, that's about it for today. Gonna finish that one and get that done and call it a day. Come back later and do the other stuff on another video. So again, thanks for joining me out here, folks, and we'll catch you on the next one.